Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Online Digital. This podcast is your weekly dose of fandom entertainment and knowledge. We'll be interviewing a range of fans from all walks of life. This week, we'll welcome back Melissa, known as Pink Troid on Twitter. We'll be listening to part 3 of our interview, and today she'll be talking about her love for Doctor Who. Now, she has a lot to say, and this segment has been split into 2 parts. Can you relate to her love? Stick around! So let's get into this interview, shall we? I will now hand you over to part 3. Enjoy!
When I started watching Doctor Who was on the 26th of March 2005. When it started, I always thought rather boring because everyone else has a story as to how they started watching Doctor Who, and mine is just boring. It's people got introduced to it by their parents or their grandparents. They started watching it, then the show was revived, and they were like, "Ooh, this is the show that I've been introduced to with Tom Baker. I'll watch it because it's back." And I just saw a trailer and decided to watch it. That is it. Actually, I saw the trailer on BBC One and decided that this was something I was going to watch, and I did. Now I watched the next episode, and the next episode, and the next episode, and so on and so forth, and never really stopped, apart from the time when I was banned from watching it, which we won't go into detail about, because I don't like that time when I was banned from watching Doctor Who, because it was too scary, apparently. But when I was sort of unbanned, I kept watching it, and I'm glad to have done so, because it's a great show. Which actor do I think is the one who pulled off the character of the Doctor well? That's a really difficult question, actually, for me to answer, especially since I haven't watched them all properly. I'd say I've watched Hartnell properly. Troughton, I've seen clips. Pertwee, I've seen clips. I've sort of seen clips of all Doctors. I've seen an episode with Davison and an episode with C. Baker in it, and an episode of T. Baker. McCoy. No, I haven't really seen it. I've seen a bit of the Doctor Who TV movies, so I've seen his a bit. And he seemed like a really cool Doctor, especially in the clips that I've seen with him in it. And McGann, I saw him properly in The Night of the Doctor, and he was great. And I find it really difficult to answer this, but even though David Tennant was obviously an amazing Doctor, as was Smith, he was perfect, actually. He had to take over from David Tennant, who had stolen the hearts of the audience, and he did a great job. He did a brilliant job. He was thrown right in it, actually, with his regeneration, where he was sort of meant to be losing it, and he did a great job. And I think Capaldi, he'll probably be, and I think he'll be a different Doctor, but I think he'll be good. He's a great actor, so there's no reason he shouldn't be good. But as the Whovian cycle goes, there will be an army of fans who are against him at the start. Then we'll warm to him, and when it's his turn to go, we won't be very happy at all. So that's just how the Whovian cycle works. But despite all of that, I'm going to have to say it's between Hartnell and Eccleston, purely because if Hartnell had been a really bad Doctor, it's very unlikely that Doctor Who would have even got to Troughton at all. Likewise, if Eccleston had been really bad, it's unlikely that, after 2005 relaunch, there would have been another series in 2006. So it has to be between those two. And I just love the elements they brought to the Doctor. Eccleston's a Doctor who was damaged by war, and Smith is like the sort of big kid, and I think that's a great thing to show the Doctor as, because the Doctor is only a big kid because if he just stops for a second, he'll remember everyone that he lost, all the blood on his hands, and he'll just go crazy, and that's not good. So that's why he keeps moving, and you see that a lot in Smith's Doctor. You see it so much. But Hartnell's Doctor, he's an interesting Doctor because it's from Hartnell that you see the Doctor grow into who we know him to be today. I mean, he wanted to throw a rock at someone in the caves of Androsoni. I think that's what it was called. The second episode of Doctor Who, that is. Well, the second serial of Doctor Who ever to be shown. So I really can't pick. It's between William Hartnell and Christopher Eccleston. There we go. Not really answering the question, but between those two. What do I think Capaldi's Doctor will be like? I guess I've sort of answered this one. I think he'll be different. I think he'll be really interesting. We might still see the big kid inside of him, or we might have a complete contrast and rarely ever see a smile. Like properly the oncoming storm. It's really difficult for me to guess, actually. Just from the regeneration, I find it difficult to guess, but I do think it's going to be brilliant. Definitely. And I look forward to seeing the first episode with him and seeing what he brings to Doctor Who.
Now that was only part 3 of the fantastic interview with Mels. You need to tune in next week for more, and what will she be talking about? Well, we'll be going back to her love for Doctor Who. This will be the last part of my interview with her, and it will be an unmissable experience. But until next time, my name is Rachel, and this has been Online Digital with Mels.